Welcome to the podcast From Stress to Success Blueprint. I'm your host, Lolita Guarin. And today's episode 129. Let's continue the conversation about the burnout. So in the previous episodes, I explained, what are the symptoms of burnout and what are the stages and, you know, recognizing where you are. So, okay, we went over this. So now what? Let's get to the one thing that everything needs to start from, aside from that you really worth of taking care of yourself. Everything starts with boundaries, setting them up between yourself and others, and yourself and yourself. When I started learning about boundaries, to me, sounded like boundaries is something that, you keep a fence so others don't climb over it. To keep away, everybody away. And then I've heard of the thing that you should have boundaries with yourself. And that got confusing because I'm like, how can you keep yourself away? Yeah. And that was my problem because I misunderstood what it means boundaries. So boundaries means when you define something. Boundaries show and define where you are. Who are you? And boundaries also shows who are others that are different from you. And it's honoring yourself, really honoring yourself and knowing yourself. That's why children who come from dysfunctional families have difficulty with boundaries because they were never allowed to express themselves. Because they needed to survive, they were really mimicking and doing what the adults need them to do in order to survive. So it's very difficult for the adult who's stressing out and burn out to have boundaries. They're like, I don't even know what it's supposed to mean. And boundaries is really knowing who you are and honoring your needs and saying no to situations, to people, to projects, to all of that. So I'm inviting you now to really think about what environment you grew up. Were you allowed to express yourself? Were you allowed to be who you are? Were you honored for who you were? And you were validated and celebrated? Do you know where is that you are and where you end and where the rest of people start? Or you don't even know where you are, so you feel like you just have to be there for everyone. That's definitely very stressful. That leads to burnout because you cannot please other people. You cannot live other people's lives. You can live on your own. So it could be very confusing. It's like, what does that you mean that I should not please other people because that's my life? I was like born to please other people. That's who I am. What do you mean I am who I am? You mean I have my own needs? So it could be very traumatic to realize that, the environment that you grew up with probably was not really there for you. But that's okay. That's cool because that could be used as your tool to manage your stress and the burnout from now on. It is something that you just came into a game with set of dominoes, okay? Just because you got this kind of hand, that doesn't mean that you will be losing the game. Just because you're listening into this and you recognizing it, what environment you came, and you inspired and encouraged to move on forward and help yourself, that is amazing. That's courageous. And you should invest in yourself and in your future and in who you really, really, truly are. It may be difficult to know who am I really, where am I end and where others begin with lots of practice and just being gentle with yourself and inspiring yourself all the way. And yes, you're worthy, no matter what kind of environment you came from. That's what this first step. So when you realize that you are worthy to be there for yourself, and this is a time for you to say no to things that you don't want. And it's okay to say no to things. And you will not be punished because you're an adult, right? Nobody's going to spank you and nobody's going to not give you food. Obviously, I'm not talking here about something doing illegally, okay? Now that's a very different story, but I'm talking about you have a right to say no to things. You have a right to set boundaries. You do. So leave me a comment below and tell me, Have you grew up in a dysfunctional family or environment where you really didn't feel like there were boundaries set? Or you grew up in an environment where you knew the boundaries and you came already with a very good understanding what are they, and it served you very well in this life. I would love to read your comments. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not yet already. And in the next episode, we'll be diving deeper into how to set those boundaries if you don't know how to do them.